Darren, when you're watching this press secretary try and defend essentially what is indefensible, I'm seeing these journalists are actually really starting to pin her down. The questions are more aggressive, they're more probative. What do you make of what's happening there?
As Stephen said, I think it's a very hard thing to ignore now. As everybody has seen, there's clear cognitive decline there, which has actually been reported on before, and the Journal had a very good story some weeks ago with more than 40 sources that wasn't really widely followed by others in the US media that reported that, you know, his mental sharpness is not what it should be. So there really are no excuses here. He's the most powerful man in the world. He should be the #1 reporting target, and there are just factual questions about how does this guy spend his day that have not been asked enough by enough members of the press, and the only real way that you can do that and address that story as reporters is just run really hard at it and put your best reporters on it. And the simple fact is that the mainstream media in the US hasn't done that. They've deliberately ignored the story, and it's almost a case now of the parts of the media gaslighting their readers and consumers in this kind of cynical bait and switch of trying to actually, you know, propose that that Biden should step down and someone else should actually step into his place, which I feel in a way is really unacceptable. The American voters should get the opportunity to vote on what they've seen over the last 4 years and deliver the final verdict on Biden, not you know, parts of the media trying to put someone else in his place after deliberately, frankly, covering up the true story about Biden.
Yeah, well, that's such a good point. And Stephen, that's what it looks like to me as an observer. It looks as if they are trying to replace him, but they've only got themselves to blame. It's too late to do it now because they lied, because they tried to gaslight everybody.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too, and I will give some of the media credit, even the very partisan pro-Biden media, and I think the fact that they are also tribal in the United States, maybe they have had enough now, and they've said, you know what, we've been defending your guy, we've been propping up, we've been following the propaganda line, you've made us look like idiots, and maybe that's why they're a bit more aggressive now. But when it comes to changing, I mean, you know, you've got to be fair dinkum about this. Whilst yes, it might be too late, and you know, yes, the voters have the right to, you know, choose their own verdict on the president, the man is clearly not up to it, and it's now getting embarrassing, and it's getting cruel that they're still putting him up in front of cameras, and even some of the excuses that they've fed him with, you know, like I crossed 400 time zones and I went to 800 different countries and I'm hungover, you know, six weeks after I got back, etc. I mean, he's not coming up with this stuff himself. So some spin doctor is feeding this stuff, and they are treating the man like a prop, and that's just not. That's not right. I think they have to replace him. The question is who with, and Kamala Harris certainly can't be the answer.
Yeah, very embarrassing.